Allah is my heart's speech. Your mercy is what I beseech. Keep in my heart your remembrance, and in your deen allow me to advance. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test. Help me in my quest. Permit me to pass the ultimate test.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like to welcome all the viewers of Ask Huda. Tonight I am here with you after Sheikh Muhammad Salah Jazal Khair asked me to join you. It's my pleasure, and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give me the guidance and the wisdom to answer your questions. And as you see the numbers on your screen, feel free to call with your questions 002 0238 555 131 or +2 02 3855 5132. And I have several questions already received by email, and I'll try to go over some of these questions, waiting for your calls, inshallah ta'ala. This question is from Abu Safwan from Kuwait. What is the ruling of giving and receiving organ donation, and why it is halal or haram? Receiving or donating organs is one of the things that the Muslim scholars researched in these days. It's in contemporary issues. And in issues like this, I always prefer that we refer to the answers of Muslim council, of Fatwa Council. And the Fatwa Council of the Muslims World Tie, the Fiqh Council, which is under the Muslim World Tie, Al-Majma' al-Fiqhi, they have issued a fatwa in regard to this and the permissibility of donating an organ and receiving organs as well. After a long debate, historically speaking, the position was known in the beginning, then later on it ended up the fatwa in giving the permissibility. And this is something I completely agree with, because saving somebody's life is something very important in Islam. And in Islam, one of the ultimate goal of Sharia, one of maqasid al-Shara, is saving life. And that's more important than anything else. If the Nabi ﷺ said in regard to clothes and things of that nature that it should not be buried with the dead so the live person can benefit from it, the living one has more rights over the dead. So definitely when it comes to saving someone life during donating an organ like a liver or a heart transplant, definitely will be more prior to that. So inshallah ta'ala, the answer is it is permissible for you to receive or to donate. There is no proof that you can't receive an organ like a heart, for example, of someone who's not Muslim, or it doesn't work this way. Iman and Islam and taqwa and kufr is not related to the physical organ, which is the actual heart which pumps the blood in your body. It's mainly related to the soul. So it's allowed to receive these organs from a person who's Muslim or non-Muslim alike. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give shifa and afiyah to all of us. This other question, which is from KSA, from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Hammana, I think. Is it possible that less or more than 20 ladies gather and pray Eid prayer at home? First of all, Eid prayers was not ordained for women to gather by themselves and to pray Eid. It is supposed to be, it's like Jumu'ah. Men established the Jumu'ah prayer. Women are allowed to join and to join them in the prayer. So my answer for this, no, 20 ladies or less or more cannot gather together just in the house and make Eid prayer. They are supposed to join the Eid prayers, which established in the society, the community, in the masjid or in the outdoor, and they join them. And in Saudi Arabia, the women always go to attend Eid prayer with the community, not to do it by self. Again, I would like to mention that the number is in the screen. Feel free to reach out with your questions. 002 0238 555 131 or 002 0238 555 132. The third question that I have, Fatima Yam, and Fatima asking, how can I get rid of anxiety, depression, and negative thoughts, and the whispering of the devil telling me constantly that I made I made a lot of bad decisions in my life. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Sister Fatima, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give you power and healing to overcome this big challenge. There is no doubt that this situation, it is very hard. It's a very hard test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And my first advice for you, one, seek a professional help. Go to a psychiatrist, a psychologist, people who are specialized in this area, and seek their help. They can help you a lot. And this is something that trained for. This is science. You know, depression could be for a medical reason. You take a pill and it will help you to counter your depression. I recommend, number one, that you seek a professional help in this area from a specialist in these areas. That's number one. Number two, in the same time, I would say, make sure that you ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help you with your anxiety. Make sure that you know what the thing that causes you to stress out. You know, try not to be to expose yourself to the thing that stress you out and make you, depressed. Try to learn how to always stay positive. But these things easy to be said. But if someone's suffering from anxiety and basically under a lot of stress and depression, these words will be just words, and it's very hard for the person to change unless he seek help from professional. And I want to say it is natural that a mu'min and a believer can get anxiety and be depressed. It doesn't mean that your iman is weak or you're not a good Muslim or anything like that. You know, not every depression will go away just by reading Quran or making adhkar. It helps, but these are basically, especially when it comes to depression, these are things medically will be treated. And we don't need to say this one or that one. No, we can combine both of them together, alhamdulillah. So I advise you to stay positive, think always good of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there for you. And whenever you have these whispers and bad thoughts, just don't think about it. Don't pay attention to it. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam told us, when the shaitan whispered to you, say a'udhu billahi rajim, and don't think about these bad thoughts. If, for example, those who have a problem with compulsive disorder, that they repeat their actions many times, like the wudu and things of that nature, type of waswasa, you just ignore it. You don't think about it. You don't try to even fix it. You just say a'udhu billahi rajim and move. Even the shaitan tells you, oh, your wudu is not complete, or you did this wrong, say to yourself, that's fine. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgiving you anyway, as Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah, because that's kind of sickness that you will be forgiving for. So that will be my advice for you. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for you and to those all who suffer from mental illnesses. A lot of people don't pay attention to the dangers of mental illnesses in our community, in our society. And mental illnesses doesn't mean someone is crazy. No. You know, everybody, our mind has a certain limit and capacities, like our body, can break down and can be affected. And staying, mentally healthy is so important as well for all of us, especially with all the stress that we're living in and the negativity that's surrounding the world today. It needs us to stay positive and healthy. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for you and for everyone. This question is from Dr. Luqman. I'm seeking advice, Sheikh. I hope you can help me. I'm writing a book. Basically, it's a long question, but the book that Dr. Luqman writing is a fiction book. It's basically an imaginary scenarios of a lady, and things never took place in reality, but he's just writing a book, a story. So he's asking, please advise me if this is halal or not. These kind of books and stories and fiction stories, in my opinion, it is halal because it's not lie. Ulama rahimahullah debated over what is lie. Lie, is it basically to tell about something never happened in reality, or to tell something different from what you have in your mind? And the strongest opinion lying is al-khilaf, al-ikhbar bi-khilaf ma fi nafs, that you tell people something different than what you believe. And since you believe this has never happened, and it's clear this is just a story that you made up, it's not a true story, it's not a lie in this case. So inshallah ta'ala, the answer for your question, it is halal to do that. And this kind of work can be very beneficial, especially if your book talk about a story that carry a good meaning, and can be very good tool for da'wah to Muslims and non-Muslims alike. Sister Asma Ahmed, is it forbidden in Islam to talk to the opposite gender? No, it's not forbidden in Islam to talk to the opposite gender. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَإِذَا سَأَلْتُمُهُنَّ مَتَاعًا فَاسْأَلُوهُنَّ مِنْ وَرَاءِ حِجَابٍ. When you ask them something, you ask them, the Prophet ﷺ's wives, ask them from behind the hijab, a partition. So here a conversation taking place. وَلَا يَخْضَعْنَ بِالْقَوْلِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, what He forbids, that women, when they speak in a seductive way. That is not allowed. But a conversation between man and woman, that's absolutely permissible. And this conversation should be according to what is known as acceptable and appropriate. There is no inappropriate words or jokes or things of that nature. And from the time of the Prophet ﷺ, conversation took place between men and women in the market and in homes and many different shape and forms. The only thing that the conversation that will decide if this conversation is halal or not. This is Farzan Iqbal. Assalamu alaikum. I just want to know, is earning from basically, he said, monsoon traffic or online business, is it halal? I'm not familiar with this particular type of business, so I will need to research this more. So I will leave this to be researched and maybe answered by Sheikh Muhammad Salah, inshallah, in the future, or if I'm around here for next time, I will give an answer for that. Or you can tweet or email the channel, or tweet me your question. I will search it more to know about the ruling on it. This is another question from Asma. Is it forbidden to make dua every time after obligatory salah in my native language? No, making dua in your native language, is it allowed even inside the salah according to the strongest opinion, if you don't know how to say it in Arabic, or you don't know what it means in Arabic. And I believe that this is strongest opinion among the fuqaha. This is the opinion of Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah himself, and also the opinion of the Shafi'i and Malikis and Hanbalis. They will allow a person who don't know Arabic or who don't understand it to make dua in their native language. This issue is debatable, obviously, being the scholars, but that's the strongest opinion, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala only asks us to do what we are capable of. And there is really no proof to forbid someone from using their native language in dua during the salah. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the Lord of all languages, and you're supposed to ask Allah what you know what it is. You know what it means. It's better to learn the dua that came in the Quran and Sunnah to use, but absolutely it's permissible to do it. As for making dua after the salah, a lot of people make a lot of dua after salah and they care for it so much, but they don't know that the best time to make dua is actually in the salah, not after the salah. The time where the dua is more likely to be accepted is during the salah. And one of the best time to make dua in the salah, in sujood and right before salam. That's why Nabi ﷺ said, فَلْيَتَخَيَّرْ مِنَ الدُّعَاء أَعْجَبَهُ إِلَيْهِ. After you finish tashahhud, you choose the dua that you wants or desire the most, or you love the most, to ask at that time before you say Assalamu alaikum. Make a lot of dua. And the Nabi Sallam taught Abu Bakr a dua to say before salam, and he taught us to say to ask Allah protection from the punishment of the grave, the fitna of the life, the fitna of death, and the fitna al-haya, al-mahya wal-mamat, fitna al-masih al-dajjal, the trial of the false Messiah. So this is a time to make a lot of dua, not after the salah finish. So I advise you to take advantage of the salah to make dua during the salah. After salah, it is recommended for you to make dhikr. Astaghfirullah, which is a form also of dua. Subhanallah, alhamdulillah, la ilaha illallah, Allahu Akbar, reading Quran, Ayat al-Kursi, Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Qul Rabbin Nas. But if you want to make dua after the salat, after you finish your adhkar and you want to make dua, it is allowed for you to make dua as well. Here, another question from Khalid Mustafa, but as a quick reminder, our line for your calls is basically 002 02 3855 131 or 002 02 38555 132. Khalid Mustafa sent this question through email. I work as a judge. What is the rule of working as judge in Arab countries like Iraq, which practice some Islamic judgment and also civil law? What's the rule in regard to that? Working as a judge in a country which doesn't apply the Sharia, in my opinion, doesn't make much difference between any country in the world. But yes, there's some Muslim country who apply part of the Sharia and not apply other parts. My answer for this question will be that, in Amjad, the Assembly of Muslim Jurists North America, we have a fatwa about this issue in regard to Muslim living in the West. And we said there is many different type of judges and courts. Some of them, we have no shubha at all about it. It's absolutely halal. Like those who, for example, judge in relation to things are not related to Islamic ruling, like for example someone in traffic violations. The judge in this case, it is absolutely halal. There is a phone call. Let's take that phone call and come back to continue our discussion. Go ahead. Brother Ismail from Sierra Leone, go ahead.
Assalamu alaikum, ya Sheikh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yes, my question, Sheikh, is I would like to know the ruling for someone who divorces his wife 3 times in a single moment, saying, I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you. I would like to know the ruling for this kind of divorce. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ismail, for calling. The answer for this question in regard to divorcing your wife 3 times in one sitting, the majority of the Muslim jurists consider this a divorce and count as 3. And when people start in the beginning of Islam, in the beginning of Umar time and Abu Bakr's time, it used to be count like 1. But Umar radiallahu anhu, when people start saying it too many times and they don't care, he counted as 3. And that became the practice after him to basically stop people from saying this word loosely like that. So obviously there is a debate between the scholars. The vast majority of the ulama will consider it a divorce that take place 3 times. If he said, I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you. But I don't go with that opinion. I go with the minority's opinion and the choice of Shaykh Islam bin Taymiyyah rahimahullah and Shaykh bin Baz and many others that consider this as one divorce. And I consider I divorce you, I divorce you. It's just an emphasis and it's not really initiating a new divorce. And also make sure when someone divorces his wife that he divorced for the right reason and not to rush to use the divorce. There's steps should be taking place before divorce. Like try to reconciliate and try to fix the problem and work on the problem that he has with his wife or she has with her husband. Also, the divorce must be done in the right timing, whereas basically a woman free for menses and not happen during purity where intimate took place between them. So these conditions must be exist in order for a person to divorce his wife. And it should be initiated only one time to be a Sunni divorce, not a Bid'i divorce. Now I'll go back to the issue of being a judge. So if this is the type of court that you work on, which is a court that deal with traffic lights and things of that nature, it is absolutely permissible to do so. I think the problem will be when you have to make ruling or to judge in things that goes against the teaching of Islam, or it's not the same as what Islam says in regard to certain crimes and punishment and things of that nature. I do believe that for a person as a judge, in this case, if a person in this particular case can excuse himself from being part of it, and he is excused, it's fine. But if not, he's allowed to judge between them according to the best justice that he can bring to the case. I don't believe that it is the right course of action for people to abstain from the court system, even if it's not perfect, even if there is area which is need to be developed or to be changed. I think being in the system and try to promote justice and to promote honesty and good quality traits inside this area, it is so important. You know, if we ask all those honest, good Muslim judges not to be part of that system, it will be left for who? For those who don't fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Nobody will ever say that. That's why Shaykh al-Islam rahimahullah ibn Taymiyyah, when he asked about being a tax collector or work for the Mughal in the time when they occupied the Muslim land. And tax collector practiced law. He basically applied law which is not from Sharia, the way it was applied at that time by the Mughal against the Muslims, the occupied land of the Muslims. And Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah allowed that, and he said if you do this to reduce the amount of injustice and to promote justice, it is permissible. So based on that fatwa, our fatwa came in Amjana, Simply Muslim Jurist North America, is to say that if you work in that system as a judge in a Muslim or non-Muslim country, or in the police force or anything of that nature, the point is try to promote justice, try to make sure that you provide the justice that people deserve. And in the area where you can't make a change, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala inshallah forgive you, because we look at the big picture and the general benefit that happened from you being in that position. Also, brother Khalid Mustafa from Iraq has another question. Do we have another caller? Okay, Sister Safiya from Nigeria, go ahead. Welcome to the show.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Please, I have a question. There's this networking going on in Nigeria. It's called Boombai. When you register a certain amount of money, say 50,000 naira. Hello?
Yes, I'm listening.
Okay, when you register 50,000 naira, every month you're giving 1,500 naira. So I don't know what's the ruling on this.
What do you mean you're giving 1,500?
No, you register, it's a networking business. You register 50,000 naira with it.
Okay.
Then every month you'll be giving 1,500 naira in return.
So you register, you invest that money, or you deposit it in a bank, or how's that?
That's the money.
You invest the
then
money.
You'll be giving 1,500 naira every month. So I don't know, is it
And it's
halal
a fixed,
or haram?
a fixed amount. That's right.
Yes, no, it's not a fixed amount. You can give. You can register with any amount, ranging from 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000.
And you will be giving that amount of money. Basically, it's a
Every
percentage.
Yes.
What's
a certain percentage for each amount registered.
And that percentage is fixed. Like, for example, if you put 50,000, you get 5% or 10%.
Yes.
Okay.
If you register 50,000, it's 3% for it. So you'll be giving 3% of the 50,000 every month.
Yeah.
So I don't know, is it halal or haram?
Okay. What it seems to be from your question, that this is basically the same concept of interest, that if you put in money and you will be giving a fixed rate of interest and profit, that's what we call interest, or it's a form of usury, and it's not allowed in Islam. But if you put in money and basically invest, and whatever amount of money you make out of that investment, you will receive. Most likely it will be 33% or 5%, whatever the amount is, but it's not fixed. It's based on the investment, sometimes more, sometimes less. In this case will be allowed, but from what you're saying, it seems to be the same concept of depositing just some money in a saving account and getting a fixed return on it, and that's not allowed. So we will have a short break, and we come back to answer the second question of Brother Khalid Mustafa, inshallah ta'ala.
From that, I've really come to understand that to be a Muslim, to be someone who says they've surrendered and submitted to the will of God, is to be in harmony with everything around you and to be a benefit to everyone.
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our Creator, He gave us a life plan. He told us what to do. He gave us, goals and what He expects from us.
It has roots in Islam because the first man who was created, Adam, he was neither a Jew or a Christian, but he submitted himself to God. Abraham, he didn't submit to anyone in creation. He didn't even hear in any of these religions. But when he was told to do what? Submit to the will of God. That's Islam.
Attached to his preconceived notions.
Yes.
And if he looks with an objective eye and an open heart, he'll see it. Unless Allah for some reason has something over his eyes because of something that we don't know is in his heart.
You had from 1980 to 2005, you had the FBI data report showing that now from all these years that only 6% had any links to Islam. 94% were people who had nothing to do with Islam.
This is the Deen Show. This is the Deen Show.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back, dear viewers, to another episode of Let's Talk on your favorite station, Huda TV. I'm your host, Yusuf Kroma, and today we'll be talking about the very crucial topic of maintaining trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
You have someone who's a perpetrator in your family, you could encourage him to go to therapy, to seek help from others, like adults in the family, who are trusted and they have trusted opinions, and they could help them get out of this.
So it's not sufficient for a person to utter the words of tawakkul, but in reality he doesn't really feel tawakkul in his heart.
If a wife lost a husband, then it was to the son to decide whether she can get married again or not. So it was pretty much just the men controlling the thing. So when Islam came, it kind of gave the rights and gave the explanation of the word family.
How did he treat his daughters when they were in a younger age? And I found that there's not hardly anything reported about it.
Many people judge Islam based on what the Muslims do. The fact is, Islam is perfect, but the Muslims are not. However, it is not hard for us to implement, and there are ways for us to be the ideal Muslims. Join me, Dr. Rayan Arab, in this new program, the ideal Muslim, so that we could discover the ways of how we could be ideal Muslims.
Why are we fighting each other?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to Ask Huda. This is the phone number on the screen, 002 02 38 555 131, and also 002 02 38 555 132. The line is open and we are welcoming your questions on your program Ask Huda. Brother Khalid Mustafa sent a question asking about the Islamic ruling on ISIS actions, especially destroying Asian places and some Asian mosques like Nabi Yunus in Mosul. ISIS is a deviant sect and a deviant group, do not represent Islam in any shape or form. It's just a representation of an extremist group appeared in our history known as Al-Khawarij, as the Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam described them. And even though they don't share everything the Khawarij believed in, but they still share with them many of their qualities. And I have actually a whole entire program here in this channel I recorded before about ISIS. So these are misinformed. Most of young men and women who joined them are ignorant, misinformed, but also there is a large number of their associates are nothing but terrorists and extremists who unfortunately spread corruptions and terror in earth. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect the Muslims and the world from their evil. And in regard is destroying these Asian places, I think the discussion is not about is it a legit sites or is this really the grave of Yunus alayhi salam or not. I think that the question is the way you deal, the way you introduce change. Even if we don't agree that this is the grave of Yunus alayhi salam, even if we see a wrong practice in a place, is this the right way to go to just blow it up? Is this the right way to just go force that? What happened and accumulated over years can be just changed overnight. If you really want people to hate you and to hate what you came with, you just don't go and destroy. And Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam didn't order the companion just to go to destroy the idols. It took years of da'wah, years of changes. He prayed Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and he surrounded with all these idols. And I'm not saying that these mosques or these are idols, but what I'm saying, even with a pure evil like this, the Prophet didn't just go destroy it. It took time until people themselves will leave that. So if you want to convince people that this site is not historically to be proven that this is the grave of Yunus alayhi salam, you need to change people from inside first, to give them da'wah, to explain the haqq to them. Not to basically to go destroy. And so many of these historical events is not even correct to just to go destroy it. It's a heritage. It's been there for thousands of years. You're going to be better than the khulafa and the ulama al-Islam who came generations after generations. And when we read about, like for example in Egypt, the pyramids, the companion came to Egypt, the successors came to Egypt, the ulama generation after generation came, and none of them call for such things, the destruction of the heritage of the world. So I do believe that these actions are actually motivated by wrong understanding, and even in the area where maybe there is a point of saying that this place is historically not to be proven to be a grave of this person, that person, but there is a way, there is a methodology of making a change happen, and these guys are very far away from that. Another question from Babakar Harun, asking that he is working as security at organization. what should Harun do when time of salah comes? Especially the masjid is not far away from where he works. He said, I'm in real mess. Harun, you're not in real mess, inshallah. The nature of your job as a security basically officer require from you to stay there. So for people like you, we allowed them to join the prayer like Dhuhr and Asr and Maghrib and Isha, and you can delay the time of the Salah for 5 minutes. Someone else will basically take your shift because these kind of jobs, you can just leave and go to pray and come back. What if someone attacked the place or steal from it or became a threat to it? So your job requires from you to stay in that place, and basically you pray in your place when there is a break and someone else covering you. And you're allowed to join prayers in cases like this. Alhamdulillah, our religion is based on ease, is not based on difficulties. This question is from Sister Asma, but just a quick reminder, the lines are open for your calls. 002 02 38 555 131 or 002 02 38 555 132. This is Ask Huda. Asma, she asking, I almost memorized Surah Al-Baqarah while I was pregnant. But after pregnancy and I delivered my baby, now my baby is 2 years old, I forgot most of Surah Al-Baqarah and I don't remember most of it. And she's saying, but she read 1 page every day from Surah Al-Baqarah and Ali Imran, because she heard the hadith about these 2 surahs comes in the Day of Judgment like clouds or birds on the basically on the top of the one who memorized them. With that account, it's very hard for her to memorize right now. The hadith is talking about those who memorize this surah, but if you try your best and you used to memorize it, but due to sickness or something happened to your memory, you couldn't memorize it anymore and you forgot it because a change physically happened to you and you couldn't offer that anymore, I hope inshallah you will take the ajr of it. It's like somebody who memorized the Quran and got a type of sickness that he, for example, lost his memory. He still get the reward of Hafidh al-Quran in the Day of Judgment. But if it's just a lack of time and you basically don't have time to review, the hadith wouldn't apply to you in particular, but you get other rewards, inshallah ta'ala, of reading Surah Al-Baqarah and Ali Imran. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect you and protect your child. Dr. Muhammad, this question addressed to Sheikh Muhammad Salah, so I'm going to leave it for him. But Naila Junaid Harun asking, is Ad-Dajjal the Antichrist? That's how she wrote it, and I call the false Messiah. Antichrist is very a Christian term. I usually use the false Messiah because the Masih Ad-Dajjal mentioned in the Quran. No, the false Messiah was not mentioned explicitly in the Quran. The false Messiah was mentioned explicitly in the Hadith of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said in the Quran about the sign of the judgment, فَقَدْ جَاءَ أَشْرَاطُهَا. The sign of the Day of Judgment came and arrived. And the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, أَشْرَاطُهَا, these signs are, and he mentioned that this verse referring to 3 things. One of them is the appearance of the false Messiah. And as we know, we believe in what came in the Sunnah of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam the way we believe in the Quran. Because the Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, أَلَا إِنِّي أُتِيتُ الْقُرْآنَ وَمِثْلَهُ مَعَ. I've been given the Quran and what is similar to it. Because that's why a Sunnah of the Prophet is wahi, a revelation from Allah as well. Here there is a question from Lilmin Abu. Assalamu alaikum. Is it permissible for a Muslim to use cosmetic or perfume that contains alcohol? The answer for this is yes. Alcohol is not khamr. Just the alcohol as a element in itself is not a khamr. What is the talk is about al-khamr? Is it najis or not? A debate between the scholar about it. But if there is a perfume that contains alcohol, you're allowed to use it, inshallah ta'ala, or any cosmetic product. Another question from Tawqir Faisal. Assalamu alaikum wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. I'm married for 8 years with no children. Yesterday I lost my first child when my wife delivered dead baby boy after 6 months of pregnancy. What Islam say for this? Say something to console me. I would say, first of all, I'm sorry for your losses, and I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give you a replacement with a child that will be a cool for your eyes and your wife. And I hope your wife will make a good recovery. Losing a child is not an easy thing, and definitely it is a great test. And I hope, inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make you succeed in this test. And you show Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala patient. The one who gave you the child took it back from you. It belongs to him. And this child is not just going to be wasted. Actually, this child will be an intercessor for you and your wife in the day of judgment. يشفع شفيع لكم in the يوم القيامة. This child will be because past the 120 days, this child will be in the custody of Ibrahim alayhi salam, Prophet Ibrahim, raising him for you until you meet this child in the day of judgment, taking your hand and your wife's hand, inshallah, to paradise. Just be patient, and inshallah subhanahu wa ta'ala, from you trust that you trust him, and you're patient with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's decree. And that's what I can tell you about this for now. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for you and give you, inshallah, a blessed child. And trust me, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tests us with what He knows that we are capable of. He tests us with things that there is a great wisdom behind it. So trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and inshallah ta'ala, Allah give you a child. I'm sure you're going to go with the doctor to see what's the reason behind losing that child, and something that you can, inshallah, prevent from happening in the future. Anna Siddiqui. My husband works for an IT consultant company or firm which provides service to other companies, including banks, and that these banks follow the interest-based system, and also insurance companies. My husband has no knowledge of insurance, interest-based practices, or finance in general, and only provides IT support for matters pertaining the storing, maintenance, employee records, etc. Is that permissible? Basically, the answer for this question, yes, your husband's work is permissible. It's not, it's disliked, I would say, but it is not a forbidden type of act, because he's not directly involved in making these contracts, which contain interest. He gives the support as an IT, especially if this person lives in a non-Muslim country, or minority Muslims, or a country where hard to find jobs. We would say that this is a job that absolutely permissible for the person to do. We encourage you to look for basically jobs that far away from the riba and the interest, if you can. But your job, based on what the description that I have in front of me, it's a permissible job. Another question she has: is it permissible to let children watch cartoons that have no un-Islamic content per se, but that may have some background music? I don't know what people, I kind of know what people know by saying non-Islamic content. What makes things Islamic is not to make the basically the cartoon character named Fatima or Muhammad, or to make them dark skin, or dress them in Arab clothes, or things. That doesn't make it Islamic. That's maybe part of it, but that's not what Islamic is. Non-Islamic, that means it doesn't, for example, have good values. The value of being trustworthy, the value of honesty, the value of respect, the value of caring for environment, whatever values. There's so many things that doesn't carry per se Islamic names or look, but it carry meanings that Islamically very deeply rooted in Islam, Islamic values. So if that cartoon movie basically promote these values that Islam care for and promote, and they are universal values in general, it is basically considered Islamic. We call it Islamic or not. It is basically a value that Islam cares for. As for the issue of music in the background, basically this is something I would dislike and not encouraging you kids to be so into music, but I don't think that will make that kind of cartoons haram, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Another question, but again I want to remind you of the lines that we have. You can call us on 002-02-38555131. Mirza Noor asking, we are asking so much dua for Syria. Still, why Allah is not giving peace for the people of Syria? What's the wisdom behind that? I cannot tell you what's the wisdom behind that, because I don't have the knowledge that Allah has. Allah knows the future. Allah knows how this will turn out in the future. And I trust Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You know, I know one thing, that what's happening in Syria, it is absolutely something changing the people, changing the region. And I'm sure that this will be, maybe in the short term we see it as something terrible. It definitely is a terrible thing what's happening now. But I know in the long term things will turn around to be the best interest for the region and for the people of Syria. I make dua for them and never quit making dua, because that's something Allah will reward me for it. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will protect the Muslim Ummah from so much evilness through our dua. And when we make dua, we're not necessarily waiting to see with our eyes the change. If it happened, alhamdulillah. And if it's not, it will be something maybe will be witnessed by generation comes after us. Do we have a call? Okay. Basically, it looks like our time comes to an end. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give relief to the people of Syria, bring peace to that land, and end the war, and bring justice to it and to all the world, and to bring prosperity to the world, and spread love and care between humanity. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala reward all of you, and thank you for being with us tonight in Ask Huda. Wa sallallahu wa sallam ala nabiyyina Muhammad. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Allah is my heart.